Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, DJ Hamilton of the DJ Sports Show here on WRCR Radio here in Garnerville, New York, and welcome to 2025. How you doing today, Will?
I'm doing mighty fine myself. DJ, how are you?
Hey, I'm gonna be honest. I'm doing good. Christmas was good. Spent time with family. Had some Christmas dinner. Watched NBA games all day. And just getting the vibe with family was great. Seeing everybody there in one place was great. Except my mom was in Jamaica though, so yeah, she had a nice
Oh,
little. Yeah, it was a gift from me and my brother. So
oh,
yeah,
how
yeah, that
nice.
that was something nice for her. She was gone for a weekend. She wasn't here on New Year's Eve. She was gone for like 12 days. So nice little gift.
Wow.
Yeah, she works. She works every day, man. So we gifted her that. And then yeah, just I had some car troubles, like I told you. That was stressing me out the last 2 weeks. So I'm like, it was tiring me out. So I've been like all over the place. So that's been stressing me out. But luckily, finally passed inspection, so that's good.
There you go. Into the new year.
Yeah, 2025. And so how's your holidays?
My Christmas was good. Got COVID shortly after that. That
Oh,
sucked. Gave
damn.
it to everybody at the New Year's Eve party. I felt really bad about that. You remember Matt? It was at Matt's house, and
Oh, was this for WRCR?
No, this is just he's my friend.
Oh,
Like
okay.
we hang out regularly. So
Oh, that's good.
but he got it, and I feel really guilty about that. But we're thriving. I'm out of it now. I'm good. I'm past the isolation period. So and I feel great. So other than that, nobody I knew went to Jamaica. That's pretty sick.
That's pretty sick.
I can't outmatch that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got a D&D book that's as exciting as it gets.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. But we hope Matt's getting better. Your protege.
Yeah, he's doing better now. He's hanging out with his family. He's clear. He's good. So
No, that's good. That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear everybody's healthy. Everybody's doing well. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first episode of 2025. I know it's been cold weather outside. We got a great one here for you guys today. Talk some college football playoffs, semifinal round that just happened recently. I want to give you guys my top 5 NBA MVP ladder. And then since this is the first episode of 2025, I want to reflect on 2024, a year, honestly, where I took things up to even another level from 2023. But first things first, we're going to talk about the college football playoffs. And I want to have a guest on for this show. He is an on-here host for We the Hobby. He's a good friend of mine, and he is the host of the Chillin' with Dylan podcast, my friend Dylan Bruton. What's good, Dylan?
DJ, the introduction, man, it truly warms my heart, makes me smile. I appreciate you, though, my brother. Truly glad to be here as always. And, anytime you flash that signal, hey, I got my cape and my cowl. I'm ready to go.
Oh yeah, I know you are. So, yeah, man, I know you're a big college football guy, so I was like, there's no better person I want to bring on to the show than my guy Dylan, who loves college sports. So recently we had the college football semifinals. College football playoffs didn't get off to a great start. Some of the games, a lot of them were duds. But the semifinals, they really took things up to another level, and they finally lived up to the billing. We had Notre Dame against Penn State in the Orange Bowl, where Notre Dame came up on top 27-24, and then the Cotton Bowl last night with Ohio State and Texas Tech, and Ohio State coming up on top 28-14. So first thing I want to talk about is the Notre Dame and Penn State game. But all these teams are great defensively. Some of these teams are like top 5 defensively in all of college football. The Notre Dame game, though, man, seeing that game, Penn State, oh man, they were playing a flawless, turnover-less game until the end. Drew Aller threw that big interception. Christian Gray dove for it. That got them within field goal range. That helped them because they were at the 42-yard line. They had a 19-yard drive. Mitch Jeter gets the field goal that ends up winning the game for Notre Dame. And the one thing that stood out, too, was the third down efficiency. Notre Dame, 11 for 17 on third downs, and Penn State was only 3 for 11. And that's one thing. Third downs are very crucial, especially in big games like this, and you got to show up. Riley Leonard, Notre Dame, remember, coming into the game, there were some injuries to this Notre Dame team. You had the offensive line. They got more depleted as the game went on. Their starting left tackle went out, and then their starting right guard eventually got limped off the field as well. Riley Leonard had a concussion scare in that second quarter, and then he came back in the second half and started balling out. And he is a dynamic dual-threat quarterback. This guy, I think, one day, I don't know where he's going to get drafted in the NFL draft, but I think he could be a solid backup quarterback at the NFL level. I know you had Jeremiah Lyons. He was coming in with a bad knee. And I don't know if you saw that play where he hurdled over to the defender, because I know you were watching that with your guy Jamal, who went to Penn State. That was crazy.
He wasn't in a good mood. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was not an enjoyable experience for him, and he had money on the game too. And that's just one rule, cardinal rule: you never bet You never bet for your actual team.
Exactly.
You're asking for a world of hurt.
Exactly. And the one thing that stood out to me with this game is like Penn State, they really dominate on the ground. Like their running backs, K'Dron Allen and Nicholas Singleton, man, they were dominant. Nick Singleton scored all 3 of their touchdowns. And one thing
Yeah.
none of their receivers had any receptions. And I'm just like, this made it easier for Notre Dame to kind of game plan for them defensively, because if you don't have like say in like basketball, say on the perimeter, the receivers are weak, just like in basketball. If you can't shoot the ball, the defense could just, try to like not close out on you. They could clog the paint, and then you're gonna have to be like, you're gonna be shaking your head because you're a one-trick pony. You don't have ways to diversify your offense. Or in this case, yeah, same thing for Penn State. The running backs, they probably got tired, even though Nick Singleton seemed like he could go all day, but they didn't have anything. The receivers, they were non-threats. That allowed the Notre Dame defense to kind of suck in and pressure up front, and they didn't really have to play any cover. They were playing a lot of man-to-man. So that's one thing that really stood out to me in this game.
I think you mentioned a very big key point about the running game for Penn State. The running game kept them in the game, and honestly, I mean, it was a tale of two halves, because Penn State came out firing. Their running game was absolutely dominant. They had over 100 yards in that first half, and then they only had about 60 for the rest of the entire game. And I will say there were some missed opportunities, like that one drop by Singleton, and I love Nick Singleton. I think he's a bell cow back. He's somebody that you can give a heavy workload of carries to, but that drop that he had early on in the game,
Yep.
If that's one of those plays that if you can get that back, I mean, he had a phenomenal game. Not taken away from you. The young man played amazingly, but that's one of those plays that you wish you could go back. But you mentioned a great important point about the passing game. Mm-hmm. Drew Allard there was a lot of talk about this was going to be the standout and show-out games for Drew Allard to prove that he's one of the top quarterbacks of the 2025 class. And I still think that Drew Allard has a lot of potential, but I do think that it might behoove him to come back for another year. Yeah. I definitely think that there was some very bad reads. There was a lot of throws in double and triple coverage that, you just can't. He's a young guy, you know what I'm saying? So you just got to go through and go through the lumps and bruises, but you can't make those throws against NFL coverages and against NFL defenses. That's just not going to cut it. And I think the player I was most impressed with was Abdul Carter. I mean, wow. Like rocking Micah's number and playing like Micah Parsons.
And he was playing with one good shoulder.
One good shoulder. Yeah. And he was making plays left and right. He had the Darth Vader tape on, and as a Star Wars fan, I love that. Yeah. He to me, he solidified his draft stock as a top 5 pick, bar none. I just think that overall, Penn State, it was a game that, I don't think it all falls on Coach Franklin's shoulders, because I know he's got a 1-15 record against top 5 teams in his time as Penn State coach. But it is certainly a problem, and we'll be able to flip that into the next part when we talk about Ohio State. But I do think that overall, Marcus Freeman, on the other hand, showed that he is one of the best coaches in college football, bar none. I mean, to overcome the slow start that they had, to overcome the potential concussion to Riley Leonard and
the depleted offensive line.
Right, the interceptions. You throw Angeli out there. When I was actually in short spurt, I was very impressed with how he played. I was very impressed with Jaden Greathouse. He had an amazing game. We talk about receivers who picked up their play and made huge plays when it mattered most. Jaden Greathouse balled out.
That 54-yard touchdown, man.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Dude fell. I mean, you should have seen Jamal's face. He looked like he just got told his favorite TV show was canceled. So I think it was a game that ultimately it lived up to the hype. There definitely were definitely on Notre Dame's end. They cannot have another slow start like that though against Ohio State when they play against them, because Ohio State has a lot of firepower. Yeah, and that's just not the team that. I think Riley Leonard is a talented quarterback, but he is not the type of quarterback that is necessarily going to win you games off the strength of his arm. He's a dual threat guy, but he leans a little bit more on the rushing end. Yeah. And the Notre Dame has a very strong running game, and they have a very strong defense. They play a very old-school brand of football. But you need to come out firing. You need to come out swinging. And Penn State, they did what they could, but definitely there is room for improvement on Aller's end, and there definitely is room on improvement for Coach Franklin.
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to Riley Leonard, man. Like, coming back with you're off the field, you're stumbling and all that and things of that nature, and you come back for your team. Shout out to Steve Angeli, man, for that little first few minutes, keeping the offense composed, keeping them looking smooth and poised during those big moments, especially at that stage, just to come in on the fly. That's why I always say, always stay ready. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And he did just that.
Next man up.
Exactly.
And he overcame some very bad turnovers that he had, and he was able to brush that aside and play with a lot of chutzpah and a lot of heart. So I definitely think that Notre Dame is primed in position to get a national championship victory if they put it all together properly.
So before we get to Ohio State, here's what Marcus Freeman had to say on Riley Leonard.
When your team needs him most, Riley Leonard always steps up. How does he always give you guys a chance?
He's a competitor, and competitors find a way to win, and that's what Riley does. That's what this team does, man. This is a bunch of competitors, man, that find a way, and it's an honor to be a part of it with them, and looking forward to this next one.
Yeah, speaking of the next one, Notre Dame is headed back to a national championship for the first time in over a decade. Why is this the group that could get it done?
A special group. You find out a lot about your team at its lowest moments. And this is a group that continue to stay together. They trust each other. They leaned on each other, and they got better. And that's the reality of this thing. In those toughest times, that's when you make the major gains. And I'm proud of this group, proud of this place, proud of this university. Let's go celebrate a little bit.
Now you're headed to Atlanta. Congratulations, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Katie.
You heard how the audio got so smooth at the end?
Yeah, I know. We're having some technical issues with our board.
Yeah,
so
it's okay.
I don't know what's up with that.
And then here's what Riley Leonard had to say after the game and giving kudos to his teammates for stepping up.
Katie.
Oh, nope. That's the other one.
Molly. Riley, you guys flipped us. You transferred to Notre Dame with this goal in mind. You're about to play in a national championship. What does that mean to you?
Well, it doesn't even feel real. And once again, I shouldn't be the one on the microphone right now. I didn't do my part tonight, but heck, these guys did, and they carried me throughout the entire game. Whenever there was a second of doubt in my mind, I had somebody coming up and telling me, that they believed in me. So to be here on this stage, we're going to enjoy it. We got one more left.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Jesus bless.
Yes, that's Riley Leonard, quarterback of Notre Dame. And he transferred from Duke, by the way. He's former Blue Devil. So.
Yep.
And then
a
Marcus.
lot of people forget he was on that team, that Duke team that upset Clemson when they started the season. I think they were ranked number 2 or number 3 in the country.
Yeah.
And he led an upset. So that was my first introduction to him. But I was definitely impressed with his ability to overcome adversity.
Exactly. So Freeman will look to become the first black head coach to win a national championship. Notre Dame reaches the national championship for the first time since 2013 and looking to win their first national championship since 1988. They'll be playing Ohio State, who bested Texas last night. I just want to quickly get into it because we're almost halfway through the show. So Ohio State ended up winning 28-14. Quinn Ewers had that strip sack that was the curtain call for them. Jack Sawyer, the senior on Ohio State, strip sack Quinn Ewers there at the goal line. He returned it for an 83-yard touchdown. The score was 21-14 before that strip sack, and then he scored that touchdown. Ended up being 28-14. That put the game pretty much out of reach. And then coming back on the next offensive possession, Quinn Ewers throws an interception. The game was already over, but that was just that was just the cherry on top for Ohio State. And I don't think you could have asked for a worse ending for Quinn Ewers to his collegiate career. And me and you were talking about it yesterday.
Oh man, it's tough because to add further insult to injury, Jack Sawyer was his former roommate.
Yeah.
When he was at Ohio State, so that it's always stuff like that's got to blow. When it comes to Ewers, I still think that. I mean, he's most likely going to go into the transfer portal, and it probably would be the smartest thing to do because he's got the eligibility. Might as well utilize it, get another year under your belt, get more comfortable, and show these scouts the caliber of talent you are. And I think people forget because of the amount of hype around Arch Manning.
Yeah.
But Quinn Ewers was the highest ranked recruit as a quarterback since Vince Young. So it's kind of crazy that Texas has had like a succession of different quarterbacks who achieved like perfect recruiter ratings. But Quinn Ewers had that. But definitely this game showed that there is work to be done, and he just might not be fully ready, potentially. I don't know. It just really depends on what the scouts are saying. I could very well see a scenario where he says, you know what, I have enough tape anyway. I've shown the compository skills to be the capable person for this job. So, hey, I made it pretty far. You guys got to give me a little credit now. And things happen. This was also a game that was very winnable until literally the last part of the game.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens, what he decides. I think he's at this rate, he's probably going to be a later first-round guy as opposed to a top 5-10 pick like some had him in the preseason. But it just kind of depends on where he feels is best and what he feels is going to work in the best for his success. Because we just saw Carson Beck yesterday go to Miami.
Yeah.
And his draft stock was very up and down all throughout the year after he got up the hype that he had last year. So it'll be interesting to see what Quinn Ewers ends up doing. But it was not the ending that he could have wanted. Definitely not.
Yeah, definitely not. And then with that being said, Ohio State makes their first national title appearance since 2021 when they lost to Alabama, and they're looking to win their first national title since 2014. And before we let you go off the show, preview who you think is going to win the national championship. You have Ohio or Notre Dame?
Honestly, given the I think this is the classic battle of offense versus defense, because Ohio State, not to downplay Ohio State's defense, because they did a great job of limiting the run game for Texas, and that was something that, before they were talking about that was going to be a big key. But Ohio State, just offensively, to me, has every tool possible. They've got great running backs. They've got a great receiving core. And I think that Notre Dame defensively can keep up. And I would love for, the brother Marcus Freeman to get a victory. I can't lie. But right now, I think Ohio State, but we're going to see. I don't put it past Notre Dame because, again, they showed a ton of resilience. And I think one of the biggest takeaways that I had from the Ohio State game was the fact that Jeremiah Smith only had one catch for 3 yards, which is quite crazy because he had been on a tear. He's been looking like baby Julio out there. So I think that everything falls onto, can the Ohio State get their playmakers going? Because you got him, you've got Travion Henderson, who is one of the fastest running backs that I've ever seen just on field. You've got Nneka Ibuka. I mean, you've got a very talented offensive team that is not gonna go out quietly. And next man up, Carnell Tate as well had a big game, and these guys are all studs. So I think ultimately I'm picking Ohio State just because of the offensive firepower. I don't know if Riley Leonard can hang with Will Howard. Will Howard has had an amazing year. Outside of the Michigan game, he's played lights-out football. But the only caveat I will say is Ryan Day does struggle in the big games. He's got an amazing record throughout his time as Ohio State's coach, but he's had his struggles against top 25 teams. His record significantly goes down. And it's kind of the same thing that has plagued Coach Franklin.
Yep.
So that's where Coach Freeman, if he schemes properly and makes the necessary adjustments throughout the game, that could be what leads to Notre Dame's success. And if they're able to play ground and pound football and they're able to play physical, then that's where I will say that puts Ohio State in a different position. So right now I'm saying Ohio State. That could change. I mean, we got a couple days, but I'm picking Ohio State right now. But I'm not mad if Notre Dame wins. This is a rare year where I have no skin in the game.
Okay.
But I've always had a love for Ohio State personally.
Okay, so you have Ohio State. I think I'm going to go the same thing because I'm just worried about Jeremiah Price's Lions' knee. Excuse me, yeah, Jeremiah. I'm just worried about his knee.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. In Ohio State, they're ranked the top of defense and opponent points allowed per game, according to TeamRankings.com. So that's one thing. I'm just worried about their running game with their main running back, and he's not even 100%. So that's the main reason why. If he was 100% healthy, and I'm seeing plays like he did hurdling over guys, and he's not even 100% healthy, oh man, if he was 100% healthy, I would go Notre Dame fully. But I'm just a little bit shaky, and then their offensive line's kind of depleted. I don't know, are those guys gonna be able to come back in time? So we have to see. But Dylan, tell the people where they can find your work before you get off.
Oh man, well, thank you first off, DJ, for bringing me on the show. It is always a pleasure. I would say the best place to find me at the moment is either chilling with Dylan 1229 on Instagram or Dylan_We The Hobby 10. I'm in the process of getting my main page back, so I'll be able to promote that soon. But in the meantime, either one of those pages, I'm definitely getting back to getting more consistent with posting content. And you can find me on DJ's sports show website as well. I'm actually working on an article as we speak. So stay tuned, and much love for bringing me onto your platform. And it's always a pleasure to talk ball with you, my friend.
Always my brother, my guy Dylan Bruton, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
So yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. Coming back, we're going to quickly go through my top 5 MVP ladder. Listen to DJ Sports here on WRCR Radio, and we'll be right back. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on DJ Sports Show here on WRCR Radio here in Garnerville, New York. And I want to talk quickly my MVP ladder, top 5. We are now in the new year, 2025, so you know the NBA award race is going to start heating up. So there's been some guys who have really been standing out lately in the NBA. And I've been watching a lot of the games as much as I can. And I know some of the guys that are just outside my top 5 are going to get to my top 5. Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland Cavaliers, doesn't give an honorable mention. Cavs have the best record in NBA. They're on pace to probably have the best record in NBA history if they keep on the current pace. I think he's having a great season, but I don't think his individual numbers are going to be good enough to warrant like an MVP award. He might be top 7, but he's not going to win it. Another one is Victor Wembanyama. I know everybody has him in the top 5. NBA.com has him in the top 5. I just don't think his team's record's good enough. As much as I love Wembanyama, I just don't think he's going to get it. So number 5, I have Karl-Anthony Towns, the New York Knicks. He is the first Knick to record 30 points, 20 rebounds consecutive times in a season. The other Knick to do that is Patrick Ewing. He's averaging career highs in field goal percentage and three-point percentage, and he's giving you 25 and 14 and 3 and 4 basically a game last time I checked. He leads the league in rebounds. He's 4th in offensive win shares and 4th in win shares per 48. And he's just been more aggressive. He's always been an elite shooter, one of the best shooters the league's ever seen, especially from a big man, arguably the best shooting big man of all time. I think it's Dirk Nowitzki because he's done it at the highest level, but the numbers don't lie. He's been more aggressive attacking the basket, and I think that trade from Minnesota really woke up the bear, woke up the cat, they like to say. Has this nickname, William? Cat. The bird.
If I do say so. Or rare, I guess, in this case.
Number 4 is Jason Tatum, the Boston Celtics. They're top 3 team in the East. They kind of had a lackadaisical December. They're trying to really get back on track. He's still putting up great numbers. He's 3rd in VORP. He's 8th in box plus minus, top 5 in win shares. He continues to be a two-way force for the Celtics. And the fact that he's always so consistent, and he has to be in top 5. I know he doesn't. A lot of people be hating on him. Some people like to call him soft, like Brandon Jennings. I don't even listen to those type of people, but. Yeah, Jason Tatum is a superstar, and yeah, I want to give him some love on this list. He's number 4 on this list for me. 3 is Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks, top 4 team in the East. He leads the league in scoring right now. He's giving you over 31.5 points per game, basically about over 11 rebounds per game, 6 assists, 1.5 blocks per game. He's shooting about 60% from the field. If he keeps on his current pace with his efficiency, he'll be the first player in NBA history to average over 30 or more points and shoot 60% or better from the field for 2 consecutive seasons in NBA history. Will Chamberlain, Shaq didn't even do that. That's how historic the season he's having. He's 3rd in box plus minus, top 5 in VORP, 7th in win shares per 48. He continues to be the Greek freak, and he just had a great performance last night against the Orlando Magic, 41 and 14. He just makes it look routine. So he's number 3 on my list. Number 2, Nikola Jokic, basically averaging a 30-point triple-double. He just had another one last night. He just makes him be able to fit with Russell Westbrook. Just shows how brilliant of a basketball player he is. You can put any player around Nikola Jokic, and they're going to have some of the best seasons with him of their career, or be able to fit seamlessly with him because how unselfish he is with the basketball. He is the ultimate point center. He's averaging career highs in points and points per 100 possessions. And earlier this season, he was the first player in NBA history to score 100 or more points, grab 30 rebounds, and dish out 15 assists in a 2-game span. Simply amazing. He's first in offensive win shares, VORP, PER, second in assists, and as a center. He's the only center in the top 10 in assists in the league. He is the Joker. He's number 2 on my list. But number 1 is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Recently, when I did an article on top 3 MVP and candidates, he was, at my verdict, I had Giannis winning. That was, I think, about right fresh off the NBA Cup tournament. But now that I did my rankings, I updated it. I think Shai's number 1. They're coming off a 15-game win streak. Shai is on pace to be the first guard since Michael Jordan to average over 30 points per game, shooting 50% from the field. No other guard has done that in NBA history aside from Jordan. Kobe didn't do it. Dwayne Wade didn't do it. And there's been a lot of great guards throughout NBA history. He has a chance to join that this season. He also is one of 4 guards to have average over 30 points on a 15-game win streak. Jordan in 96, Curry in 16, Harden in 18. Those years, they all won MVP. So will Shai win his MVP? I just think that's something to think about. So, yeah, those are my top 5 NBA MVP ladder. So I only have a few minutes to talk about 2024, and I just want to say 2023, I remember I joined the radio show in October that year. I started visual interviews, and I really call that year the elevation year. But 2024, I remember I did a YouTube video saying 2024, we trying to raise the score, and man, we did. I got a camcorder, which I used to record radio visuals, which you guys see on YouTube. I wanted to take things up to another level, not just do audio, but show visual content from radio, and have more content for visually outside of my interviews. I also got Rob Parker on the radio show and interviewed him. I had my first local sponsor. I got to be at Big East Media Day, getting to ask Paige Beckers, who rejected the number 1 pick in WNBA draft questions, getting to talk to Hall of Fame coaches Gino Auriemma of UConn Huskies, women's basketball team, or Rick Pitino of the St. John's Red Storms basketball team. I got to cover the Westchester Knicks as a media credential member, and I also got to be a silent reporter for Niagara Varsity Football, the first ever in the school's history. And I got to do so many other things, like my Tremendous 24 poll celebrating 4 years of my brand's work. So I just wanted to, I remember 2024, I just said I just want to take up a notch what I did in 2023. And that's why I called it 2024, the year we rose the score. And how you like that little rhyme, Will?
I do like it. I got to give it a hand. We got to give it a hand to 2024. The score was, in fact, raised.
Yes.
And did, in fact, raise the score.
Yeah, man. And I just want to, the last 2 years, honestly, have been a lot of growth, man. Like, a lot. Even, like, sports, but also, like, traveling to, going to DR, everything. This growth as a human being, this growth overall as a person. And I just want to continue to get better, man. I'm going to be 25 this year.
I know. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Great year.
I'm about to hit a quarter century.
There you go. I'm past it. I'm an old man. I'm 26.
But you were born, what, 98, 99?
98 in December, so I just turned 26 last month.
Okay. Damn.
So.
How does it feel? Everybody said after like 25 it goes downhill.
Yeah, I'm feeling it already. I told you I started the year with COVID, so it's been a rocky road so far to get back up, but I'm excited for what's to come. I'm hoping that's all the bad vibes in the beginning of the year to get the rest of the year bright and clear and cheery. So we're hoping for the best, and we're proud of you here at WRCR. We're glad to be a part of your journey, DJ, and wish you the best of luck in the future.
Oh, yeah, man. Thank you so much, and I'm proud of you, too, as your acting career is taking off slowly but surely. But
thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for here at the DJ Sports Show here on WRCR Radio. Next is coming up is Tough Times with Lou Young on the latest on weather, climate change. And just quickly want to give my thoughts and prayers to the people out there in California. I know those wildfires are going crazy, so I want to give you my thoughts and prayers, and I hope you guys will build back and better, even stronger than before. So it's DJ Hamilton, DJ Sports Show, and I'll see y'all next time. Have a great weekend, everybody.